Now, so, Lady Irene. It is a peaceful London morning. Quite a cold day. Drizzly, quite grey outside. But par for the course for London at this time of year. When a note arrives through your door. A little envelope addressed to Lady Irene von Watts, care of Agatha's boarding house, etc., etc., etc.
I take a sip of my tea, look at it mysteriously, and then bend down to pick it up.
It's got a stamp and it's been franked, so no one's put it directly through your door. It's come through the post.
All right, and I go and I open it.
And inside you find a card with a watercolor painting on the front, showing a sprig of rhododendron flowers.
Oh.
And inside, in a very precise cursive hand, it says, "Talk to Erasmus Wither. Ask him about the lights in his publishing house. There is something bad going on there. Yours. A friend."
This is interesting. I guess I must bring this up with T, with Maddie.
So, heading over to meet up with Maddie, who has had the same grey, dull morning. Even now, the sight of the fog makes you a little uneasy, perhaps, but I don't think it's anywhere near as bad as it used to be. But, as its doorbell rings, and the long-suffering servant James shows Lady Irene through into the parlour.
And I am sitting in the parlor as close to the fire as I possibly can without catching my skirts on fire. And I stand when she walks in. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. I thought Maxwell was supposed to be with us today. I was hoping maybe he had pulled his head out of that horse's ass.
Unfortunately, he heard that you were going to be here, so he opted to stay home. He still has not any sense in what is going on. I think it will take him some time, as it took time for me to get more comfortable with other things.
There is definitely this look at how close you are to the fire, and I see. Well, good time. At least you still have some sense about you. This came in the post today. And I hand it over, and
well, please have a seat. We'll drink some tea, and then we can discuss this.
Yes, of course.
So I will read through the note. Something bad. What do you think might it be?
I have no idea. This may come as a surprise to you, Miss Carter, but I am not exactly the most studied into the occult nature of things.
Well, the lights Either
Can
they're
life
piping
be bad?
something in. Well, they could be piping something in through the gas, or maybe they think it's something supernatural that is affecting the lighting. Since they sent it to you, I'm assuming they think it's something supernatural.
Mm-hmm. I was in agreement with you. I think we might want to take a day trip to the printing press and speak with Erasmus Winthrop here.
We can do that. We'll have to see when they're open, though. Maybe I'm going to call for James and ask him if he knows about this printing press.
Printing press.
Do you know if they're open to the public, if we might call?
Hang on.
Or...
Your uncle had a directory of, London publishing houses. Withrow and Sons. They've, got an office in Bloomsbury and an actual, factory south of the river.
Why don't we check their office first? And see if it's in the factory or if it's in the office, because there are two different locations.
Mm-hmm.
And James, we will, and I will take a piece of paper and write a quick note, basically requesting that we come visit today to the office. Could you send this to their office so that they are aware of us visiting?
Yeah, I'll just go get someone to run the message over. One moment, Mum.
Thank you.
And James disappears off to send the note over. So what does the note say?
It will introduce myself, and it will say we are looking to stop by and to see the offices and perhaps maybe take a small tour of the factory if possible. Out of curiosity rather than anything else.
Okay, so James places this note in the hands of a small and slightly grubby-looking urchin, who runs it over towards Bloomsbury, pausing briefly on the way to buy some hot chestnuts, stuffs the note into his pockets, get it out again, and by the time it arrives at Withrow and Sons Publishing, it's a little crumpled round the edge and has got like a small bit of roast chestnut stuck to it at one corner, but it's otherwise not too bad. And the urchin appears at the door of the publishing house and goes in. Mr. Withrow, I'm looking for an Erasmus Withrow.
I'm assuming that one of the, I almost muted myself, that one of the, I'm probably in the office itself. So someone
Okay, so you'd be sort of upstairs. Yeah. And in fact,
yes, in the loft.
At this time of the morning, it's probably actually your son, Albert, who's down at the front of house. He was just picking up the Morning Post, sorting some things out. And he takes a letter, gives don't know what the going price for urchin rates are. Let's say a halfpenny. It's possibly a bit steep. To the urchin and brushes a little bit of the chestnut off the letter and carries it upstairs to his father in his office. Father?
Yes. Yes, Albert, my man, yes, come on in. I'm currently in the process of mounting some new subjects. It's, come in.
Yes. This came for you. Don't know who it's from. Runner brought it over. Have you seen Walter this morning?
No, I don't know where
Probably.
Walter is. I don't keep tabs on him. That's not my job anymore.
He's always in late. I think he must have been out drinking.
Albert, what are you doing here?
I was just picking up a bit of post. I'm going to head over down to the factory just in just a moment.
Post?
Just some
mail?
bills. Nothing for you to concern about. Just some bills and whatnot. I've got it all in hand. I'm just
don't
heading
like
heading
those.
down.
No.
Heading down to sort a few things out. You know Frank, old night watchman Frank. Sits at the front.
Oh yes, Frank. Been with us for quite some time. Yes.
Yeah,
good
he
good. How is Frank? How's his family?
well, he just handed in his notice this morning, so I've got to
What?
look for someone
Frank
else.
has given his notice. That's not good.
No,
Frank?
that's another one gone.
Oh, Frank.
We've lost near half our staff here in the last month.
That's unfortunate.
Anyway,
Do you know why?
I have no idea. That's what I'm gonna go down and see if anyone knows what's going on.
Albert, part of being a successful publishing house and a successful business owner is being on top of these things. So I want you to go and address this presently.
Of course, right away, Father. Anyway,
Excellent.
I'll
Excellent. Is
leave
that a
you.
letter in your hand?
Oh yes, it's for you.
Oh, yeah, I forget. Yes, you just told me that. Thank you.
Yes, Father.
Now go and see to this.
I will.
How is Frank? How are his children?
Good. And he shuts the door.
Yes. And he just kind of, the letter just sits there, and he goes back to, like, pinning a lunar moth in place, his hands shaking and making an absolute mess of the wings on either side.
All right. So, perhaps a couple of hours later, at a respectable time, Irene and Maddie head over to the publishing house offices. You can see it. The place looks a little bit run down. The sign above the door is a little bit faded. But it also says it's open. So you step inside. You can see there's a man, perhaps in his 30s, slumped like the desk in the downstairs office. Looks to be kind of dozing slightly, resting his head on his hand, like a pen kind of drooping between his fingers. He doesn't seem to notice you enter.
I am going to gently clear my throat.
But
See if
I
that
was
brings
awake.
any-
I'm awake.
Hello.
Sorry. Morning, miss. Mom?
I was wondering if Mr. Winthrop is here. Winthrop?
That Mr. Withrow, that's
Withrow.
That's me. And my brother. And my father. Which one of us are you after?
Erasmus?
Erasmus?
That'll be my father.
Yes, we sent a letter earlier today. Introducing us and requesting possibly a tour.
I don't know any letter, but if it came earlier, my brother Albert might have took it. I'll go and see if Father knows anything about it. If you just wouldn't mind waiting there. He's probably upstairs seeing to his moths. And the other Withrow heads upstairs. Father, it's Walter.
Walter, what are you doing? I thought I told you not to disturb me during my entomology time.
Yes, there's two young
Would you like to
ladies.
see my new moth, Walter? It's a
Yes,
Luna moth.
yeah, maybe later, maybe
Glorious
later.
Luna, it's part of the moth family. It's very big and yes. Well, what are you doing here?
There's two young ladies downstairs asking after you.
Ladies?
Yes.
Your mother's friends are visiting?
No, I don't think they're friends of Mother's. They seem a good deal too young. They said they sent a letter earlier, asking something
Your
about
poor
it.
mother. Beautiful woman. Absolute saint. The consumption. Yes. You said what?
There's two people downstairs who are asking for you. Could you go down and talk to them?
I don't
Please.
see why they can't
No.
come up here. I'm in the middle of something.
I'll bring them up here. Okay.
Yes.
And then he follows. He follows him downstairs.
Ladies, this is my father, Erasmus Withrow. Sorry, I didn't get your names.
I am Maddie Carter, great niece of Sir John Wallace.
And I am Lady Irene von Watts.
So the old gentleman who just shuffled his way down the stairs is maybe his late 60s, early 70s. A suit that is well tailored but rumpled, as if he hasn't thought about maybe changing his clothes in a day or two. He's white mutton chops, kind of his pate is almost completely thinned down to nothing, and he's got the Ben Franklin thing going on in the back. Completely stark white. His cravat is undone. He's just following his son. Doesn't seem to know why. He just followed him.
Yes, you do not. Yes, ladies. Walter, why are they here?
I have no idea.
Yes.
We sent a letter this morning.
Were you acquainted with my wife, Wilhelmina? Unfortunately, she has passed. Back in '72. Yes, were you well acquainted?
No.
No.
Oh, beautiful woman, love of my life. What do you? Well, if you're not acquainted with Wilhelmina, what are you doing here?
We've come to ask about the lights in the publishing house.
You're not. No, you're not repair people, unless they've started training women, which is very fine. You know, I am a progressive, but I don't know why you would. Where are your tools?
I am going to turn to the son and say, "Is your father all right?"
Oh, yeah, he's fine. He's not quite as quick as he used to be.
Walter, what is this about the lights being broken? You didn't
The
tell me the
lights-
lights were broken.
Father, these young ladies would like a tour of the factory, I think.
Oh,
To look-
the factory, yes.
Why don't you
Yes, we have a
take
fine
them down to the
factory.
factory
It's a
and
publishing house.
show them all your favorite?
Several printing presses, and I have the lights. What is this about the lights? Walter?
lights
I've heard they're
of-
broken now, and
I
women with no tools. And, are they friends of Wilhelmina, Walter? I don't know.
I am going to
Yes, the
lead
warehouse
over
is
to
this way.
Lady Irene.
they're
And
friends of
whisper to her,
Wilhelmina's. Why don't you take them to go look round the factory? They'd love to have a look at your printing presses. I will take care of things here, and you can have a lovely day out.
This I could use.
Maddie here. She knows a lot about moths. She's interested in factory lights, having attracted some
fellow
moths. Why don't you
entomologist.
go and show her
So you're not repair women.
The
Yes,
factory
Well, I'm
and look for moths?
glad to hear that. No tools. It makes it terrible for any repair work to be done. I could use an ambulation. It's been quite some
Lady
time.
Irene has turned away, gone into her purse, pulled out a flask, unscrewed it, and taken a little. and she's kind of leaned over to Maddie and is kind of like elbow a little bit.
Maddie is going to glance at Lady Irene and lightly shrug. Yes, let's go take a tour. Maybe we will see some moths. Some non-typical moths.
No, I like typical moss.
Fascinating
There
moths.
you go. And you see this Walter with her. She kind of just herds the three of you out the door of the shop with some.
You see, Walter, this is a fine example of why your brother is the one that I want to take over, because even these friends of Wilhelmina's are pursuing the scientific pursuits. I'm not asking you to become an entomologist, but knowledge is the way of the future, Walter, and your lack of applying yourself is what is this about the lights?
The lights seem to be attracting some moths.
Oh, well, the lights here seem fine.
Oh, no, the ones in
Skylight,
the
you see,
factory?
the sun is nature's light, and we have a factory somewhere.
Yep.
Where's Albert?
It's all right. We're going to see Albert at the publishing house at the
Well,
factory.
Well, I have not been squired round London with any young ladies since Wilhelmina's passing, so I believe this is a fine time to have some ambulations. Let's go. Walter,
And so,
where is our carriage?
I'll get one brought over right away.
Yes, excellent, Walter. This is the kind of self-motivated thing that will allow you to one day potentially inherit this place when Albert passes.
And as the carriage pulls up, you hear Walter murmuring in the background, "He's like 3 years older than me."
Erasmus has heard nothing. He does not know that was said at all.
A frustrating amount of time later, the carriage pulls up outside of a factory building south of the river. And it's quite a change from the streets of Bloomsbury. You've come down here to Bermondsey. There's a factory building, smoke thick in the air. You're not that far off from the open fields of south of Rotherhithe, south of the city. But here it's definitely industrial. You can hear the clattering and clanking from inside the buildings. See people hurrying to and fro with wheelbarrows laden, in this case around this part, with reams of paper. as pull up outside the actual printing house. And as you pull up, you can hear sort of the tail end of some sort of argument going on. Look, just find us anyone who can sit and watch a building overnight. It's just a building, it's not going anywhere. Just someone who can make sure nobody breaks in and shout if someone tries to. It's not difficult. Frank did it, and he was almost as old as my father. We can find someone to do this.
Now, ladies, this is my publishing facility. I founded this after my first few exposés were published about 40 years ago. Before that, I was a freelancer for the Times. Frank? Frank, old boy, are you here? Frank?
He kind of pokes his head into the, assuming the bay door, which is where the carriages that take the newspapers go to and from, and just starts looking around and raps the first person he sees on the shoulder with his owl head cane.
Yes, sir?
Where's Frank? I have
Frank left.
friends of Wilhelmina's that I would like to show around the publishing house, and as much as
Frank left, sir.
What? Oh. His children sick. I hope they're well.
Said he couldn't take it no more. He left.
Take what no more?
Said there were strange things going on at night. He seemed right shook up about it, he did.
Of course there's strange things going on at night. This is London. That's where you find the best stories, the strange places. Frank, when will he be back?
Never, I think. Seemed like he'd proper left.
No, he's sure he's just he's getting up there in years and maybe just needed a nap. Oh, Frank is one of the good ones. He and I have had some times.
Yeah,
I'm sorry to interrupt. What sort of strange things were happening?
I don't see much of him. Frank works the night shift. You see, he keeps an eye on the building when the rest of us go home. Everything should be all locked up by then, but... Yeah.
Well, I'm going to look for Frank and maybe Albert. This is Mrs. Carter. She is a friend of Wilhelmina's, so I want you to show her the utmost respect. And this is Lady Irene, who I guess is an electrician, and she is going to also be worthy of your respect. Now I have to find Frank. Albert!
And he meanders off to go find Albert.
What morning, Ma'am? I'm Minnie Watts. I work here.
I'm so sorry. We don't actually know who Wilhelmina is.
Oh, that was the boss's wife. She died about 10 years back, I think.
He's mentioned that she passed away in 1972. Do you by chance know what the weird and strange things were that were happening? Did Frank mention any of it?
Not to me. I'll be totally honest. Don't say it too loud. I don't actually work here, strictly speaking. My husband, Ernie, he works here, but he, disappeared off, pardon my language, Mom, about a week ago, and,
I'm
Mr.
sorry.
Albert was kind enough to let me take on his shift.
Until your husband is found and
Until
able
he
to return?
turns up again, yeah.
I'm so sorry.
He's
Is he
Okay.
prone to disappearing?
hadn't done it for a few years, but I've been checking around the local pubs in the evening. But yeah, it's sort of a right stress. I've got my eldest. I had to send my eldest home to look after the young ones, and but at best I'll get paid more than she does, so an earnest shift.
I'm so sorry.
Just
Do you by chance know where
if
Frank
anyone asks,
lives?
I'm not working here because
Hmm.
the hours wouldn't be right, what with the law.
Mm-hmm.
Frank, yeah, he jots down an address a few streets away.
Thank you. Thank you. Do you mind if we just wander around? You seem busy.
You'd have to ask either boss or Mr. Albert, really. It my call, but just stay away from anything moving. It can, it's quite dangerous if you're not careful.
I understand.
Mhm.
Have you ever thought about becoming a medium? It does make good money.
I don't know nothing about mediums or any of that stuff.
And I'm going to hand over a card, just subtly, to her, just in case.
Right. She tucks it away in the pocket of her apron.
I start walking around just a little bit, keeping my skirts close to me, away from anything that might be moving, just looking around. Not too far from where we were left, but
Mhm.
Alright, so I'll say make me a general spot hidden. What are you looking out for here, really? What's your aim?
mostly just waiting for somebody that can actually show us around and maybe give us some more information.
Okay.
That's a fail.
This. Ooh.
Ooh, critical.
So, with that, Irene, please roll me 1d10.
Oof. Oh gosh.
It's not a bad thing. Oh, it's only a 1. And as you rolled a critical success, you get to add that 1 to your spot hidden score.
I'm now at 52 on my spot hidden.
But, yeah, as you're glancing around, waiting for anyone who seems to know what's going on here, you hear the clattering of the press and people barreling past, carrying ink and type and paper.
Albert?
Everyone seems in quite a rush and quite hectic. Meanwhile, we'll get back to what Lady Irene spots in a moment. Meanwhile, Erasmus, towards the other side of the room. Albert looks up from a bunch of proofs he was checking. Father, I wasn't expecting you down here.
Yes, well,
Shuffles the proofs over to one side.
Well, for one, you must always be on your toes, Albert. When you inherit this place, it is important that you are accustomed to people dropping by. You might not expect. A story could be in the making with every single visit. Now, I have questions about Lights and Frank, who I
Frank's
suppose is
fine.
on-
He just decided it was time to move on with his life. Sometimes there comes a point where maybe it's time for someone to retire.
Nonsense. As long as a man can think and move, He has no reason to ever retire. Work keeps you young, my boy. You will one
And-
day discover that when you are of age. And there's people here. I somewhere.
Yes, I saw.
Well,
they
do be a
reporters,
gentleman. They're ladies. Be a gentleman and show them around. They may have questions.
Yes,
I raised you to be better than
really,
this, Albert.
you
I
shouldn't
raised
be
you to
bringing
be a gentleman.
guests around here. It's dangerous and dirty. There's no place for a lady.
First off, your mother would have tanned your hide for that. A lady, as your mother taught me, that a lady can be stronger than most men. And one is here to fix the lights, I think. So they've become very progressive. They have,
The lights is the thing.
although
Wrong
she
with the
doesn't have
lights.
tools. She doesn't have tools with her, which
The
I
lights.
think
The lights
may
are fine.
indicate that an the lights. No, I've been told they're broken.
Where's
Albert?
Walter? Where's Walter?
Walter's probably at some opium den like he does. Walter is a shiftless layabout, and I don't. This is why
So he
you
sent
are
you
the
down here to
favorite
bother
son,
me.
Albert.
Yes.
You are the favorite, and you must earn and keep your place as being the favorite by continuing to demonstrate the values that your
Yes,
mother and
yes.
I sought to instill in you.
Yes, I will go talk to our visitors. But really, Father, we are working very hard down here. We can't be interrupted. There's a lot of critical, important work going
Are
on.
you saying that I'm interrupting you, boy, by coming into my own business?
A little bit, yes, Father. Sorry, sir.
Oh, Albert. Oh, you've wounded me so. Oh, family.
Apologies.
is the
Apologies.
truest dagger.
It's been a trying week.
Family is the
Um,
knife that can pierce any armor, as you've demonstrated once again with this horrible attack on my heart, and your cruel words.
Yes, and it,
Friends
makes
of
a
your
few-
mothers are here. I want you to show them around with the same respect that I instilled upon you as a fine gentleman. Now
yes.
do as you're told. Put that down. Go be a gentleman.
And he shuffles more with the proofs and
And he idly picks them up and just starts reading them.
okay. So as Albert heads over towards Maddie and Irene, you catch sight of something sort of tucked away. There's sort of various boxes stacked around the room, and you can see that behind these boxes, someone's essentially stacked up what appears to be a bunch of typeset trays for printing. Like, rather than being with the rest of them, they've been tucked away hidden away behind these boxes. Not very well hidden, perhaps, but shoved away. Someone's pulled a sheet down over some of them.
Irene is picking up the sheets curiously, looking to see what she's.
And I'm going to ask for a language own roll here for the reading everything backwards challenge,
Oh,
because this is printed this is in reverse.
I see.
So. Oh, sorry, I was on the wrong tab. Yeah, so you can make out the first sort of phrases of this before Albert gets over towards you. And it says, "Let the light shine. Let it embrace the world."
Interesting. I probably tried to nudge Maddie to look, but I don't know if that'll translate before we are interrupted.
No, it won't. But I'm mostly keeping an eye out for people approaching us, looking to see. And if he if I see him coming over, I'll probably start to approach him.
Yeah, Albert walks over towards the two of you. Sorry, yeah. Everything's a little bit hectic down here. Albert Withrow, it's a pleasure to meet you.
It's a pleasure to meet you as well. I'm Maddie Carter. I am the great niece of Sir John Wallace.
Ah, the, historian.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yes.
It really is a pleasure.
We were wondering if we could have a tour here, as well as we've heard that there's some strange things happening.
If you've been talking to my father, I must apologize. His mind is not entirely in the present all the time. Everything, apart from the fact we are understaffed and overworked, and everything is. I mean, there's nothing unusual going on. Just a few absences, a couple of faults on the press, but otherwise, things are going fine.
Mm-hmm.
Can I? I'm gonna bullshit check this.
Yes, go for it. Roll me a psychology.
I feel like Irene's going to die today because I'm getting all these successes.
He seems nervous and twitchy and like he's covering something up. Don't know what, but he wants you out of this place.
Mm-hmm. Well, we would still like the tour. And as I said, the rumors that we've heard that there is something strange going on.
No, nothing. But I'll give you a tour. So, if we head over this way, we can see where the paper comes in, and he starts giving you an accurate and proper tour of how a Victorian printing press works.
Does he offer his arm?
Yes, he would.
I will take it, and I'll glance back at Irene and do a gesture indicating that she can take her time following if she wants to look closer at things.
Irene, are you lingering or following?
I'm going to linger because, I mean, I was reading backwards text about stuff, so I'm curious to see if there's any more shenanigans about.
Okay. So, as Albert starts to lead Maddie on the tour, and Lady Irene, you peer back under the sheet. Erasmus, you've been looking over some of the proofs that Albert was shuffling to one side. And what strikes you immediately is they are awful quality. Like, the printing is smudged, the letters are blurring into one another. It's honestly some of the worst printing you've seen in a long time.
Old man rage builds, and he's inarticulate for a few moments because he's sputtering to himself, and he immediately, grasping a sheaf of the papers, begins to stalk around the floor looking for his son. And if he sees Irene kind of looking around the presses, he's immediately going to stop and make sure that what is printed here is not what's going out to the people. Like he immediately, without any kind of
so these are look to be proofs for a book rather than newspaper.
To him, that's even worse. However, for now, he's going to look at the as the paper comes out, he's going to the end of the machine and ripping one of them that's just coming down the conveyor belt so he can look at it.
Okay, so as you pull this sheet sort of off the press, you hear a kind of sound of dismay from the worker nearby, But as you pull it off, you can see, I mean, the ink hasn't properly dried yet, but even now, this is, you know that you pay for good quality ink. This is not good quality ink. It is watery, it's smeared, it's soaked into the paper. The paper's not the quality of paper you've been paying for. This is a shoddy job, a shoddy print, and it appears also to be an extract from someone's Salacious Society journal that they're trying to get self-published. So the writing's bad, but that's probably not your fault. It's all sort of gossip with like pseudonyms and like
He
whispered secrets.
immediately grabs the nearest person and pulls them towards him.
Sir? Sir?
Get me Albert now.
This way, please. And he points over to where Albert is walking along with Maddie on his arm, explaining. So the paper comes down here, down this chute, and you see as it goes down here onto
Paper?
the...
This is not paper. This is shit. You've turned my... I cannot believe you, Albert. I cannot believe you. You have...
What?
This is my legacy, and you've turned it into ass paper. I wouldn't wipe my behind with this, Albert. And the prose is terrible. Albert, get over here now!
I
On one hand,
apologize,
he's
Miss
grabbing a
Carter.
piece of papers. In
We'll
the
get
other,
back
he's
to
got
Lady
his
Irene in a
cane.
moment, or else this is distracting.
This is such a good distraction. I love it.
Father, this is the paper that we've been sent. These are the deliveries that have been coming in.
And are you in charge of the deliveries, Albert?
No, that's Walter.
Get Walter here now.
I will get a message sent up to Walter right away. Perhaps we should all head back up to the office and find Walter. I think that would be a brilliant idea.
Yes. Albert, I am very disappointed in you. You know better than to allow this to come out, regardless of what your reprobate brother has to say. I gave him a chance, and he's made toilet paper with this, my legacy.
I just assumed that we were trying to be economical. I didn't.
Economical?
I thought you'd agree to this. Walter
With
said you
my
signed off on.
legacy?
You signed
I
off on
agreed
all the
to it.
orders.
Albert, come here. Come closer, Albert. Albert, come here. Now.
I can't come any closer. The desk in the way.
Open your mouth, Albert.
Father, yeah? What?
And he takes the handful of paper and shoves it in his mouth.
And Albert looks mortified to this, especially, there is a respectable lady present as he's sputtering.
This is the legacy that I chose to left you, children, and you have made dog food of it. So if you're going to make dog food of it and make the decisions of the dog, I will treat you like a dog. How does your food taste, Albert? How does your food taste?
And whilst all
Maddie
this
is extremely embarrassed about what is happening and turns around so that she doesn't have to see it. She can still hear it, but she does not see it.
And whilst all this is going on, Lady Irene, you can see this reverse type. You can see it continues a couple more lines along the same sort of lines as the first. Let the light shine, let it embrace the world. The gate shall open where one came, more shall follow. And onwards with a litany light is mentioned about 15 times that you can see. It appears to be, at first glance, some form of religious text, maybe? Other than that, you can see stacked. It essentially looks like someone has lifted all these off, like out of the presses, and hidden them away in quite a hurry behind here.
Is there a way for me to steal one and try and fold
So these
it
are more
up?
like, these are not. These are.
Oh, these
what's
are
used
like
to,
the.
This is used
Oh,
to.
to actually
Yeah.
make the. Okay, so no stealing that. That's fine.
No.
Take a rubbing.
Yeah.
Lady Irene doesn't know anything about this. So wait. This is someone would have had to lay these out, right? Physically,
Yes.
Irene's gonna touch it.
Okay. As you touch it, you now have ink on your fingers.
And you know what she's gonna try and do. You know what she's gonna try and do. She's going to try and see into the past of this inanimate
Roll me
object.
a mediumship / psychometry / nonsense
Oh,
roll.
fail. Nope, didn't work.
You're not getting anything off this other than getting like ink on both your hands.
Ew.
Doesn't seem to be anything coming off it apart from a strange chill down the back of your neck. But maybe that's just a draft. Nothing more direct than that. Possibly your calm state of mind that you usually use for mediumship is being disturbed by the background sound of an angry old man yelling about paper quality.
I kind of look at the ink on my hands. Is there paper nearby to where I could try and press this now that the light bulbs are going
Yes,
off in
yes.
Irene's? Yeah. And yeah, she is going to try and push paper down on this, not knowing how to actually do this.
Yeah, so you get a one moderate quality sort of print of this. Like it's not, there's not a huge amount of ink still left on it, so it's very quite faint.
Mm-hmm.
But you have got the text of this top page that was here ready for printing.
I'm trying to dry it real quickly before I fold it up.
Yeah. And meanwhile, Albert is spitting out bits of paper and goes, "Father, I think we should take this elsewhere. I don't think we should be having this discussion in front of all the workers."
Take it elsewhere. This is my business. The business you and your brother have tarnished the legacy of. Now, you, boy,
And he grabs another worker.
Yes.
we are going to get Frank here, and he's going to sort this mess out. Frank would not let this happen. You are to take...
And he grabs another sheaf of the paper and rips it down.
You are to bring this to my son, and you are to watch him eat it. I demand that you
Sir?
stay until he finishes the whole page.
Yes, sir.
And he reaches into a pocket and just pulls out a handful of money. Like, he doesn't know what the denominations are. It's just cash, and he puts it in his hand.
Yes, sir. Right away, sir.
Eat the whole thing. Don't put salt on it either. We're going to let this cheap ink be all of the seasoning he gets in his meal of iniquity.
And
Now, where is Frank?
Frank's retired, sir.
Well, we will go to his home then, and we will... I'm very angry.
And the
Sleepy.
worker takes the sheet of paper and skedaddles off in quite a hurry as Irene sort of slips up beside Maddie like she was always there.
You should see Frank.
And I take it we're going to see Frank.
Ladies, I apologize for my outburst. It was most unbecoming of a man of my station. I've just seen the edifice that I have worked my hands to the bone for 60 years be torn down by the casual failures of my loins. And now I must find
Mr.
the man who
Winthrow.
can...
Mr. Winthrow,
Yes?
please do not apologize for running your business.
Then I shall apologize for my loins for having created these two incompetent sons. Albert was supposed to be the light that guided us through the centuries forward of a fine publication house, and now he's allowed it to fall into the midden. Frank will fix this. Frank is the one man I've been able to rely on, and we shall go, and I shall go and visit him.
Allow us to
Obviously.
accompany you, Erasmus.
Well, I don't see why not. We can have a fine afternoon out on the city. Yes, Frank, let us go.
And he grabs another worker.
Get me a carriage. We're going to see Frank.
Yes, sir. And as Minnie runs off to
Yes.
organize transportation, and as our investigators, plus disappointed father, are you bringing Albert with you on this trip, or are you leaving Albert to dwell in his own inadequacy?
I'm going to give Albert time to properly think about all of the things he's done wrong in ruining my legacy,
Okay.
and eat the rest of his meal. And
Indeed.
so yeah, that's a thing that's happening now.
And
and,
so,
yeah.
well, so as the three of you head over to go find Frank, I think I'm gonna call this break, and we'll be back in 10 minutes. now. In the zone. So, our two investigators, Maddie and Irene, have become involved in the family saga of the Withrow family, who own a publishing house. And things have gone a bit sideways. There's poor quality paper. It's a tragic event. And this is probably the terrible bad event that, you were warned about. It's someone is using substandard materials. It's absolutely awful. But over the course of this investigation, you have now acquired a friendly old man. Or at least an old man. And together the three of you are off to visit Frank, the recently retired night watchman of the factory. And so your carriage trundles up this narrow terraced row of houses. You can see on either house these smokes, either side, these smoke-stained brick houses, steps down to the street, children playing in the street who jump out of the way as the carriage comes by, splashing through rather filthy puddles, until you pull up outside the house where Frank lives, along with his children and grandchildren and various other members of the Johnson family.
I will exit the carriage.
Okay, and your boots sort of splash into cold, partially frozen puddles in the street. It is getting quite cold this time of year. A small child is past going, matches? You want to buy some matches?
Yes, I'll buy some matches. And I will buy a packet of matches from her.
Matches, sir? Want to buy some matches?
A mattress? How are you able to lift one? You're so small. Is it a down mattress?
No. And she scurries off.
The sign that
Emily looks to be about
London
sort of 6 years old.
London is on the rise, my dears. The industrious children have started to sell bedding, and that is instead of trinkets. So this is a sign of progress. Frank lives here, I believe. This looks like his neighborhood. Jeannie?
He actually goes right to Frank's house without not knowing which one it is. He goes right to Frank's, and children come out. He calls them by the correct names, and yeah.
Uncle Rasmus.
Yes. Hello there, Alice. How are you?
Very well. You got a new doll?
Yes. That's beautiful. It's your father. So your grandfather. I keep forgetting that he's gotten that old. And you must be, what, 8 now?
Me?
Yes. 8 or 6, I forget.
I'm 7 and 3/4.
Oh, well, I was in the ballpark, as the Americans say. Well,
They say that?
they do. They say a great many things, most of which is complete poppycock.
There's an American who lives on the next street.
Yes, well,
He
we
comes
shall have to.
from Virginia, which
Oh, tobacco.
is a
then.
place in America.
I know. I'm glad to see that you're doing your book learning. Soon you'll be a master cartographer. Yes.
Grandfather says we have to go to school. Even though
Your
it's boring.
grandfather is a wise man. You know what good children who get a good education get, Alice?
What?
They get a coin.
And he pulls out a penny and
And she runs off excitedly.
Tell your grandfather that I'm here, okay?
Yes, sorry. Out. You see this fairly old man sort of parting the sea of children and hanger-oners as he makes his way through towards Erasmus. Sorry, sir. I do tell them not to bother people, but they get awfully excited.
It's never a bother. It's good to
Seeing
see
you.
that you've raised level-headed, beautiful children, unlike mine, whom my loins have sought to deliver unto this world rotten fruit. Frank, when are you coming back to work?
I told Albert. I'll tell you, I'm not coming back. It's no offense meant. You've always treated us well over the years. Thank you for it, sir. But I get paid to watch a factory. I don't get paid for whatever nonsense your son's involved in these days.
I'll fire him if
nonsense
it
is
brings you
that?
back.
Oh, sorry, Mom. Didn't see you.
These are friends of Wilhelmina's. This is Miss Carter and Lady Irene, two of my wife's finest friends, or so I'm told.
Pleasure to meet
Lady
you.
Irene is an electrician, if you'll believe that. It's,
And a what issue?
strange electrician. They lights. Edison. Yes.
Oh, those.
Yes.
I don't know about any of that. Give us good old reliable gaslighting.
I will fire Albert if it brings you back.
No, it's not just Albert. Look, honest, I've been thinking about retiring for a while. If you know, I've got a bit of money saved up, and I can help my daughter and with the children. But look, I've seen some things over the last month or so that I'd rather not see again, and I don't fancy myself the risk of being committed somewhere. So,
Would you be willing to talk to us about them? We are kind of interested in what you might have seen.
well, don't rightly know what it was I saw, and you know, it's I was sober. I promise you that. I don't never drink on shift.
No, you don't. You're a good man.
Might we
Drink-
not be on the
drink
street
is-
for this?
Yes, sorry. Come on in. I'm afraid it's not exactly big. Just he brings you inside into this narrow, like this small front room. It's of the house. It's clearly doubles up as some kind of workspace. You can see that there's stacks of cardboard matchboxes that are being folded and pasted and set out to dry around the room. But he hurriedly clears some space around the table for you. Sorry, my daughter's taken up some piecework, but every little helps. So yes, where was I? Yeah, well, as
You
I
were
said,
sober.
I was sober, and I was keeping a watch over the factory. It was it was a quiet night. The press wasn't running. I know Albert's been running the press at night a few days. He says you've asked him to do some extra print runs.
I have not. I have not asked him to do anything other than continue to run the business as I have always run it.
He told me you'd asked him to keep the presses open at night a few nights. And he had your signature on it.
No, it doesn't. I have done no such thing. That boy is once again stabbing me in the heart. His love penetrates the armor of a lifetime of broken dreams and sorrow.
Anyway, so it wasn't one of those nights. The press was quiet this night, and I saw a light on in the building. So I thought maybe someone had broken in. We get people trying to see if there's anything worth stealing sometimes. I chase them off, you know. Threaten to set the Apelias on them, but there was no one there, and the light, it was coming from the press itself. Like this, not really one light, but lights, I'd say, like almost fluttering, you know, like insects. I thought it was some of them. Oh, I read about them in a book once. So what do you call them?
Lightning bugs? Lightning bugs. They have those in America.
Fireflies. I don't know. I've never seen one, but
What part of the body is that? The rear end of the body lights up at night. Yes.
But you know, I've lived in London all my life. Don't think we really get them sort of things here. So I went close to have a look, and the next thing I know I'm like trembling from head to toe, and I don't know what it was really I saw, but it was not right. And you ever seen something, it's just your mind just doesn't want to remember it?
Mm-hmm.
And then I thought maybe you know, just dreaming on my feet or something, so put it back in my mind and back to keeping a watch out the front, you know. But then it kept happening every few nights. Here, see lights flickering, and I didn't go look again. I know it doesn't sound right, but I didn't dare. I was just whatever it is, whatever that was. It just, the fear got into me, and I tried to tell Albert there was something wrong with the press, but he just said everything was fine. And then people stopped turning up for work. Ernie Watts, he disappeared. I mean, not for the first time, but no one's seen him anywhere. He usually just disappears from Minnie. This time he's actually disappeared. So and just every night sat there seeing there's something in there, but not daring to go look again what it was. I couldn't take it anymore, so I'm sorry. So I handed in my notice, and I didn't want to write. I've handed in my notice because there's creepy lights in your printing press. Because, be honest, if someone told me that, I'd think they'd lost it. So, just told Albert I was retiring, but I should have told you the truth. You deserve to hear it, after all. You've always been good.
Lady Irene, do you have the note from earlier?
Yes. And I pull it out and hand it to Maddie.
And I am going to open it up pull out the note, and you said it was in cursive, correct?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to hand it to Frank. Do you recognize this writing?
Not right. Yeah. Seems somewhat familiar. Hang on, let me think. Let me think if I've got any D10s here. No, nah, not ringing a bell. But, not so good with the
Let me
written
see it.
hand. Give me a good bit of type any day.
What is that?
It was a letter that came to me, and it led us to want to take a tour of your fine factory.
A letter?
Mhm.
An advert, perhaps?
He
Mm,
May I?
And you see, it's a like a greeting card that someone has then written inside. And
do I recognize the handwriting?
yes, you do.
It was me, wasn't it?
No, it was not. I was so close to saying it. This looks to be Walter's writing.
This is Walter's writing. His cursive has always been a bit shaky. It is my son. I wonder what he meant by all of this.
I think he was trying to get someone to at least investigate what is going on at your factory. Apparently, there's foul play about.
Maybe I misjudged Walter. Perhaps he is not a opium-addicted reprobate anymore. And maybe Albert was the one that has handed me my greatest betrayal.
Perhaps
You
we
know
should go
who's-
back and talk to Walter.
Yes, we shall meet with my son. And I think we should get my other, apparently less pleasant son to come so we can just talk with them both together. One thing that has never disappointed me, though, is you, Frank. You've been there for me when few people have. You were there at the beginning. And you talked about being committed. The only committed that you've ever been is to your family. And I've always respected that.
And he kind of looks around at all the crafting things that his granddaughter's been doing. Is there a piece of paper anywhere by any chance?
Yeah, there'll be some paper.
And he looks for a pen. Then he remembers he has one in his pocket because he is a reporter. And he begins to write on it and then hands Frank the scrap of paper with his signature on it. And it leaves everything upon his death to his son Walter and Frank in even distribution.
If it's
Should probably get a lawyer to look at this, sir. But
I'm a notary.
and you have witnesses.
Mm,
Yes.
If you should like our witness signatures, you may have it.
Yes. Thank you, ladies. I appreciate that.
I
you're
will
leaving-
take the pen, another piece of paper, and I will write on it. The will has been witnessed by Maddie Carter, and sign my name and the date with it, and I will hand it to Lady Irene.
and Lady Irene follows suit.
I don't know how much of my legacy will be left after my fool son has tarnished it, but half of it's going to be yours, Frank. Yours and your family's.
Um, thank you, sir. I mean, I don't really have the words to properly say yet, but
That's all right, old boy. I have words enough for all of us.
thank you.
I'm a wordsmith. You were there for me when Wilhelmina passed, and you were there when I began to get funny. You never did. You were always sharper than anyone gave you credit for. As my marbles have become scattered, yours have stayed together. So, it's now Winthrow and Sons and Johnson. Winthrow and Johnson and Sons and... I'll let you come up with the alliteration.
Yes. Perhaps.
Now, ladies, if it turns out that Walter is also not worthy of the seed I spent to create him, you come back here and you cross out Walter.
We will. We will.
Excellent. Now,
I am going to turn to Frank and say, if you do need a lawyer, please take it to Sir John Wallace, and we have a lawyer, and we will be able to get this written for you correctly.
But yeah, with a new will made out, are you heading back up to the office? Was that the plan?
I believe so.
Alright. So you make your way back up north across the river, out of the factories of Bermondsey and up to respectable Bloomsbury. Where you find Walter in the offices of Withrow and Sons. As you walk in the door, he looks up and quickly shuts what he was working on. Father! Ladies, you're back already.
Walter, you sent these women a note.
I couldn't expect. Look, I'm sorry about the paper. Look,
Wait, was it your decision about the paper after all? Because I already made Albert eat it.
I ate it. You sent it. I ate the paper. I don't know why you wanted me to eat the paper, but I ate the paper.
Well, you're the one that Albert says signed off on its poor quality.
It was only temporary.
Temporary?
And he becomes, I don't feel like role-playing the the fit that happens because my voice won't take it, but there is a fit, and I will let everybody else role-play while I have it.
Yep. You sent me a note about what was going on at the factory?
I needed someone to look into it.
Well, we're here, and we are, and
I'd heard
what's
that
with the lights?
you know, people said they saw lights in the machine. I swear Charlie told Father about it. I heard him. But then maybe Father might have forgotten. That's why I told you to ask Father, because I thought he knew, or might know what was going on.
Well, we've talked with Frank. Frank mentioned the lights. I also noticed a strange series of print plates. I think that's what they're called. Where you arrange the letters.
Yeah, to be honest, I've only been in printing like a year at this point. I'm still getting to know the terms.
I don't know all the terms, but the thing where you place the letters to get it on the paper.
Father, please sit down. Please sit down, Father. Before you fall down.
And there was these plates hidden, and I pull out this terrible rubbing from these plates and show everyone what was written on them. Let the light shine, let it embrace the world. The gate shall open. Where one came, more shall follow. Our hearts are open, our minds are free.
I don't know what it is that Albert's trying to print, but
What kind of Byronian nonsense is that? Oh,
Yes,
I'm-
Byronian nonsense.
I'm going.
May I read
I
it?
know how you feel
that
about poetry,
voice.
Father.
May I read
Poetry
it?
is the last refuge of the terrible writer. You can't even form proper
I will read
sentences.
what was
No,
written, and does it feel at all occult to me?
Maybe
At all like what it would be from the one source of information I have?
give me a Cthulhu Mythos roll. It's not
Poetry is
ringing
for
any
dandies and
specific
opium
bells.
addicts.
It's definitely occultish.
It's definitely a cult,
nature,
but it's
but it's
not
not-
from my book.
It's not lining up with any of the specific cults that you recall reading of.
Hmm.
We may have to go in the middle of the night and see this printing press in action, Miss Carter.
I agree. Would you
The
be able to
printing
help
press
us with
doesn't
that?
run at night.
I have turned to the sun.
Mm.
Would you be able to help us with that?
If it's all right with Father, I don't want to get in any more trouble with him. I honestly thought that Albert said Father had approved of running the presses at night. And, I mean, it's Albert. He's the sensible one. You know, boring old Albert.
It appears the mighty oak has produced terrible fruit. That is a euphemism, of course. I do not want to speak untowardly around the ladies, but you get what I'm trying to say, I'm sure.
Yes, Father, you're very disappointed in me.
And I was also alluding to my loins and their seed.
Yes, Father, we get the ladies, I would be happy to show you the factory at night. Though,
Perhaps tonight?
yes, if that's all right with you, Father?
Yes, that is fine. Let us get this over and done with. That boy is out of my will, let me say. And I'm going to enroll you in business classes, Walter, so you can take over and be the son that I always hoped you would be. When you're not chasing dragons, you'll be chasing stories.
Anyway.
Can your father also come with us on this venture? I'm sure he would like some excitement.
His father is standing right here, miss.
I'm sorry, Erasmus, but I'm wondering, would you like to come to the factory at night to see if there's anything interesting going about your press?
I'll have to. You cannot let women walk the streets of London at night. It's not safe. I used to know my way around the old ring when I was a child.
So we'll meet down at the factory at nightfall, shall we? That gives us
Yes.
a couple of hours to get a nice spot of dinner and
A nap.
yes, and
Could use a nap.
yes, you go
I'm
get
very sleepy. This has been a long day.
yes,
Walter,
yes.
make sure I have my binky, and then we will go later.
I have no idea what one of those is, but yes, Father.
Very well.
He shuffles upstairs to the solarium.
So, sometime later.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
We cut to the factory south of the river as night has fallen. And Withrow, Carter, and Von Watts are waiting in the darkness outside the silent factory building.
Well, let's go in.
The Withrows have the key, so you unlock the side door and proceed into the cavernous darkness of the factory. Whereas before it was this sort of hustle and bustle of movement and the clattering and turning of the press, now it's an eerie quiet. This whole room sits empty. Apart from the occasional flutter, perhaps of bats, up in the roof of the building. Everything else is quiet and dark.
Okay.
Albert!
And there is no current sign of Albert.
Is there a candle or any lanterns right near the door?
There's probably a lantern, probably no loose candles, this being a factory that deals in a large amount of paper.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably got a rule against open flames, even with the rather lax Victorian health and safety standards.
Mm-hmm. Then I will take the lantern. I'm assuming it's glass encased. I will light the wick, but turn it down to its dimmest setting, so that we can see where we're stepping, so we don't knock anything over or anything of that nature. And take a look around.
Okay. So you step forward, lantern held in hand. Your footsteps echo in the silence. Nothing seems to be moving. Everything seems to be quiet.
Albert!
Everything is no longer quiet, just the echoes. Albert. Echo around the space. And then there comes an answering sound. A rattle of movement, the grinding of wheels as the press surges into life. You can hear as the wheels start turning, as it starts grinding, all of its own accord.
I am going to go towards the press. Not close enough to touch it. Don't want to be caught in it. But I want to see what's happening, if there's anyone there.
Okay, as you step forwards towards the press, Walter kind of is glancing around nervously. And as you step forward, Maddie, you can see that the wheels that should have a hand turning them, turning completely on their own. This thing has no power of its own. It's not joined up to anything. There's nothing to make it go. It is moving entirely of its own accord. And because self-propelling printing presses are not exactly normal occurrence, I will ask for just a brief sanity check from people, because this is... well, as far as Maddie's concerned, it's not the weirdest thing she's seen all week.
Oh, heck no, it's not the weirdest thing at all.
Whereas for Erasmus, I believe this is, I mean, you know your printing press, and your printing press should not do this. So I will deduct 3 points of sanity. Erasmus. The other two. You see Walter, pale, and shrink back from the press, like, what? It's, no, what's the... Was that not the 77? Was that not your roll?
I don't actually know. I'm just hitting buttons. And trying to figure out why it's not. There we go. I think that. Now, apparently it was a brawl roll, which is not correct at all. Either way, it failed. It's well over my sanity score, so.
Alright, well, yeah, in which case, deduct 3 points of sanity. You kind of jump and start with the noise of the press and the fact that it is working entirely on its own as Walter pales and shrinks back a little. Maddie, you
because his mind can't comprehend what's going on, evidently, he immediately begins kicking the lever that's supposed to power the machine on and off and whacking at it with his cane.
Confounded machine!
Oh, please give me a luck roll here.
So, fun fact, luck is literally my worst stat.
He's used it all to live this long. It makes sense.
That's not right.
That's a fail. It's the middle line you read on
it's
this.
definitely a fail, yeah.
You were so lucky it wasn't the fumble. But I think even with a fail, as you are kicking at this lever, sort of thwacking it with your cane, there's a crunch of wood as the roller catches your cane and it's yanked into the machine.
Will that hurt the machine, Erasmus?
Confounded machine! Stupid bloody piece of technology!
I've turned again. I've covered the lantern from the front of it with my skirt to hide the light. I'm looking above the machine to see if any of the twinkling lights show up.
Okay, so as you cover the lantern, the place is now in darkness and the press keeps turning. So you're in a completely dark room with a moving printing press, just to make this clear.
Not completely dark because I'm covering the front of it, so it's like the front half.
Okay.
The back half still has some light coming out of it, but the front half is not because I'm facing the crowds.
Yeah. So, not quite as dangerous as it could be. It's still very dark, and there's moving machinery.
Still very dark. But I am not moving, and I am looking for those twinkling lights.
Well, as the press churns through, you can, now as it's darker, you can make out light. It's not so much twinkling as fluttering almost. You see the edge of light just around, like, the rollers of the machine, around the moving parts. This tiny motes of light, like specks of dust caught in a sunbeam, darting and flickering around this.
Lady Irene, do you see this?
This press.
I do see this. She's not going crazy.
Yes, you do see this.
Yes, I do.
Do you think this might be your specialty?
How am I supposed to touch it while it's moving?
I uncover the lantern again and I look for a spot that doesn't have any moving parts.
There are stationary parts.
Perhaps right there, and I'm going to point out one of the non-moving parts. Probably on the framework.
All right.
Confound it all! Give me back my cane!
Mr. Winthrop, please come away from the machine.
And, okay, Irene, please give me one of your patented Lady Irene rolls.
We're mediumship, right?
Yes, mediumship.
Okay.
Ooh. And also please give me a power roll, Lady Irene.
Okay.
In fact, at this point, I'm going to ask for a power roll from all of you.
Power?
Yes, please.
Oof.
That's a fail for me.
If you're looking for power, it's up on the top right-hand corner of your sheet. Okay. Interesting. So, Irene, if you place your hand on this whispering fills your mind. Less a whispering and more a litany. Over and over, words repeated in a steady, sort of monotonous, machine-like tone as they intone the same words you read on that reverse text. Let the light shine, let it embrace the world, the gate shall open, when more shall come, more shall follow, our hearts are open, our minds are free. Over and over again with a kind of rhythmic turn of the press that held those words. As it, every time, as the wheels turn, and those words rattle out again, and again, and again. Just embrace the world, our hearts are open, our minds are free. Our hearts are open, our minds are free. And you feel this strange desire, this strange urge to spread the word, to let people, to get this word repeated, to paste it on every billboard you can see, to let others know and to repeat these words, to call out to them. You must, like, whether it's write it, print it, say it, you must spread it. It's this desire in the back of your mind.
It's trying to share a message. A wonderful message.
Blasted machine! Digging my cave and printing rubbish!
And Maddie,
More kicking.
you can't hear the thing. You can't see what Lady Irene says, but you find yourself drifting, almost like your feet wandering towards the pile of typeface that Lady Irene had found before. To that message that you've read the message, you know. You need to spread the word. You need to let people know.
Okay. Well, I am at that pile of typeface, correct?
Yes.
And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to uncover it from the sheet. I'm going to lift the first tray, set it down, and lift the second tray, set it down on a surface, and then lift the third, and I'm going to tell Walter, come help me with this. And while I'm waiting for Walter to respond and come over, because I don't know how to work the printing machine, I'm going to look at the other two type plates and see what they say.
It is.
Leave those alone! Those don't belong to you! Those are that stupid machine! People messing with all of my things! They're taking my typeset!
And he starts to go over to another one of the lanterns and furiously beginning to try to get it to light, and begins to approach the printing press with grim purpose.
Okay. So, Maddie, as you see, the following lines of type are essentially words to the same degree of let the light shine, let the word as a light, let us call to the light, let us embrace the light, let us welcome the light into our hearts. And so the light shall spread, and so the light shall shine.
Wonderful. And I'm going to call for Walter again. Walter, please come help me. I don't know how to make the machine work. Walter.
He's not Walter. Oh no, Walter is there. Sorry, I forgot. I'm Walter.
Yeah, Walter's there. You're Walter.
Walter blinked. Remembers that his name is Walter. I was like, Walter? Sorry, my NPC shakes himself from the daze he'd been in, just staring at this machine. Yes. Sorry, it goes here. Hang on, they slot in this way.
Walter,
Careful, mind your hands. Mind your
give me
hands.
the solvent.
Father, we just, we need to get these trays on the press. It's important.
So he goes over, knowing that now everybody is stupid except for him, and his legacy
Lady
is
Irene,
being
if you
ruined.
hold the other side of this.
He grabs I'm assuming they've got like the kind of solvent that's used to like develop a lot of the paper that's there. And with a contemptuous snarl, because his legacy is being completely destroyed anyway, he throws the can on the press and proceeds to attempt to break the lantern on the chemical covered printing press. Because if his legacy is going to be destroyed, he's going to do it himself.
Give me a combined throw and luck check.
Oh, this is where our
This is gonna go
NPC
terribly.
lights himself on fire.
Let's see.
Wonderful.
As the
Throw.
plates slot into the press and it starts to rattle out the message. As
Why is it saying library use?
the lights.
Oh, it
Flicker.
says throw roll. It looks like a success.
Oh.
And
And your
there
luck
you
is a
go.
fail.
Luck,
Your
not
luck
so
is a
much.
fail.
So
Yeah, well,
As-
that's par for the course.
as the press starts bringing through these lines of text, you watch as the lights brighten a little, flittering around the type, around the words, and multiplying with every turn of the press, with every repetition of the litany. The lights multiply and get brighter, and then there's a woof of fire, and I need I'm gonna say a dodge roll from the pair of you and
God.
from Walter.
Regular dodge?
Regular dodge.
I fail.
I fumble.
Oof.
I was saying Irene was probably going to die tonight. I was saying it.
So you're muted, but as a massive
That's probably for the best. I
Well-
was just crying about how I didn't mean to kill your entire game.
of fire. Remembering that you have luck you can spend to improve your rolls should you wish.
Oh, yes! Luck! Yes, how much do I need? I need to spend 18 points of luck.
I'm not getting out of this. I only have 30 luck. Oh God, this isn't
I
gonna
only
work.
had 25. I know how you feel.
Wait, am I correct? Is it 18 luck that I need to spend?
Yes, that sounds correct to me. Yes. Bear with me one sec while I look up.
Burning rules. Yeah.
Yes. Whilst I look up the damage from being set on fire by an exploding printing
Should
press.
I just assume that I'm on fire?
Yes, you were on fire.
Okay, cool. I just
That
wanted
was
to,
your.
just for
You
my
were the
own.
one setting fire to this. So this
Yeah,
fire
I'm on fire.
moves outwards, and Erasmus and Lady Irene are caught in the flame as it licks up, as the solvent catches, as the press catches. The press itself is metal, but it's not going to carry on running.
Moving wood parts.
It's got moving wooden parts. It's got all sorts of things that are flammable, and Maddie, you managed to dodge out the way of the fire. And
Walter?
well, Walter and Lady Irene, I would
that's
like you both So please, I'm not putting this in my hands. I am putting this entirely in the hands of 2d10.
2d10?
2d10.
Oh god.
I'm so
Lady-
sorry, everybody.
Lady Irene, that is 6 points of damage. I believe you should, in fact, actually be at full at this point to start with. I think.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We forgot to lift back up after. Yeah. So I'm down to 3.
You have received a major wound as the fire whips over you. Can I have 2d10 from our delightful guest, please?
I hope it's 20. I deserve it. Oh man. Oh god. I'm so sorry for everything.
Hey. The look will the look of the dice will decide.
1
As
second.
that's all right. I was just.
I can't believe this happened.
I need a Constitution roll from Lady Irene, please. As
I think they hit the wrong thing.
that was
You
one
rolled
d10.
1d10. Roll one more. One more d10.
Okay.
That was d100. No.
I'm sorry, okay?
Shall I roll this for you?
No. I can figure out how things work.
Okay.
There.
So,
Okay, so I need a con roll from Lady Irene, please. Maddie, you are shielded from the worst of the fire. Irene, you collapse fall to the ground, like your clothes are on fire, but you are still conscious and you are not yet dead. Meanwhile, Erasmus Winthrow, as this fire blossoms out, as the solvent that you are partially drenched in catches.
where is Walter?
Walter is also currently partially on fire. I have not yet rolled for Walter's state of aliveness. Walter is very much currently on fire and very much collapsed down to the floor, rolling back and forth in screaming in agony as fire catches his clothes.
Well, if he's rolling back and forth on the floor,
He
stop,
is
drop, and roll.
severely burnt.
Okay.
As is Lady Irene. Erasmus, on the other hand, goes up like an unfortunately old man-shaped candle. As the solvent catches, as it licks over him, as, it is horrible. And Maddie, as the person currently not engaged with being currently on fire, I'm afraid I will ask for a sanity roll from you. Because this... In
That's
fact,
a
I will
fail.
actually give a sanity roll from Lady Irene, please, because being on fire is
Dramatic, yeah.
it's really not fun.
That's a fail for both of us.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, so, Lady Irene, I will ask you to please deduct 5 points of sanity
Okay.
and give me an intelligence check. Being on fire, this whole thing it's really horrible. Maddie, you lose 3 points of sanity. It's
Okay.
not quite as bad, but Erasmus, you are dead. So you do not need to roll for sanity.
Okay, I want to, at this point, pull Irene away from the press. It is very bright in here now, so
Yes.
I can see where I'm going. I'm pulling her away, and I'm using my skirts to help pat the fire out on her. And then once she's far enough away, and once I've got the fires off of her out, I'm going to go back and grab Walter and do the same for him.
Okay, I'm gonna ask. It's not quite a roll, but I'm gonna ask for a first aid roll here. I think I'm going to roll fire response into medical response as first aid.
Oh, that's a hard success.
Yes, you managed. You've got the fire out. You've got them both dragged safely away from the blazing printing press.
And at that point, I'm going to go for the door. It's unlocked still, and I'm going to call out onto the street.
It's at that point that the door gets flung dramatically open, and Albert is framed in the doorway. What are you doing? Where's my father? What have you done to our printing press?
I've done nothing. It's a fire. And I'm going to go past him out onto the street and call fire, fire.
And you can already hear the ding, 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 ding of
I'm assuming there's
a horse-drawn fire.
Yeah, and there's buckets of some fire preventative inside the warehouse, so I'm going to look for those and try to put out the fire.
I mean, at this point, putting out the fire with a few buckets is going to be quite a challenge. This is
attempt to help.
A spreading blaze that licks across, catching now the paper that was stored some distance from the press, and then the timbers of the building itself. As
in that case, I'm going to help Lady Irene and Walter out of the building.
As Albert just stares in horror as the family business goes up in flames. As Walter and Lady Irene, still somewhat singed, are pulled to safety, smoke-stained, badly burnt, but alive still. By the time the fire service has put out the fire at the Withrow warehouse, very little remains of the press or of Erasmus Withrow. His remains burnt alongside those of his creation, of his business. And over the next months, there is a long and ongoing court battle over the cause of the fire, as the insurers of the warehouse try and avoid paying out on the grounds that this was clearly an insurance scam, where a failing business was lit on fire by the owner, who unfortunately died in the process, but was clearly just trying to get the financial payout. Whether Frank and Walter will ever see their inheritance, remains to be seen. But what can be sure is that whatever that press was printing, whatever it was trying to spread, has burnt away. Neither of you feel any further desire to spread the word. Though the words themselves are still there in the back of your mind. Not quite forgotten.
Except Lady Irene has got that very shoddy piece of paper.
She does. She does, indeed. The word lives on.